I surprised my parents with a beach house, but my sister showed up first and tried to claim it. My husband backed her, smiling like I was stupid. He said my gift should be theirs now. I stayed calm, congratulated them, and walked out. 2 hours later, they got a message that wiped the smug look off their faces. What did I do? I knew something was wrong the second I pulled into the gravel driveway and saw my sister's SUV parked like it owned the place. The beach house was supposed to be empty except for the cleaning crew I'd hired that morning. I sat there with my hands on the steering wheel, watching gulls tilt over the gray Lake Michigan water, and felt my stomach fold in on itself. I'd pictured this moment 1,000 times in the months I was saving and planning. Mom and Dad walking in, Dad whistling low like he always did when he was impressed, Mom already tearing up. I had the keys in my coat pocket, wrapped in a little box with a ribbon from Target. I'd even baked lemon bars last night even though my oven runs hot and I had to keep checking them between laundry loads. I wanted it to feel like a real gift, not some flashy stunt. But there was my sister Kara already inside and I could hear her laugh through the open windows. My husband Ben was behind me in the passenger seat. He leaned forward, squinting. Maybe she just got here early, he said. She doesn't have the address, I said. My voice came out flat. Ben didn't answer. He reached for his phone then didn't use it. That was my second clue. We walked up the porch steps together. The house looked pretty, honestly. White siding, blue shutters, a big wraparound deck facing the water. Not a mansion, just clean and solid. Something my parents could actually enjoy without worrying about fixing every little thing. They'd worked their whole lives in a factory town south of Muskegon, always renting, always making do. Dad's back never recovered from the plant. Mom's hands are stiff from arthritis. They never asked for anything. They just kept showing up. I opened the door and stepped into my own surprise. Kara was standing in the living room with her 2 kids running circles around the coffee table. She'd already put her purse on the counter like she lived there. My parents sat on the couch, coats still on, looking a little stunned, not in the happy way I imagined. Dad's mouth was open like he'd been in the middle of a sentence and didn't know where to land. Mom's eyes were darting between me and Kara. Kara turned and smiled too big. "Oh good, you're here," she said. "We were just telling Mom and Dad the amazing news." Ben slid in beside her, easy as anything. His hand found the small of her back for a second, then dropped. Like it was normal. "What news?" I asked. Kara lifted her chin. She was wearing that cream-colored sweater she saves for church and court dates. "That this house is ours now. I mean, technically theirs." She waved toward my parents. "But you know, they already said they want us to have it. Because it makes sense. We're closer. We've got the kids." I stared at her. "They said that." Dad looked like he wanted to sink into the cushions. "Honey, we didn't." Ben cut in before he could finish. "Come on, Rachel. Don't act like you didn't expect this." He said it in that patient tone he uses in public, the one that makes me sound unreasonable no matter what I say next. "You gave it to them. They're giving it to us. That's how family works." I felt heat rise up my neck. Not screaming heat. Cold, controlled heat, like when you touch something you thought was warm and it burns you anyway. I looked at Ben, then at my parents, then at Kara's kids tugging at the curtains. "You two talked about this?" I asked Ben. He shrugged, smiling like I was a little slow. "It's practical. Stop making it dramatic." There was that word again. Dramatic. He'd been using it on me a lot lately. Since I took a second job doing bookkeeping for a marina to cover the last chunk of the down payment. Since I stopped letting him handle the money after he ran up our credit card on a fishing boat we didn't need. Since I started sleeping with my phone under my pillow because every time I woke up at 3 a.m. he was texting somebody and the screen would go dark the second I stirred. Kara stepped closer, lowering her voice like she was doing me a favor. "Look, Ray. This is a blessing for the whole family. You should be happy. Not everybody gets to give their parents a house." Her eyes were bright and sharp. She wasn't confused. She wasn't grateful. She was collecting. I could have yelled. God knows I wanted to. I could have said the words spilling up in my throat. That I bought this place with my money, that I'd been saving since before Ben and I even got married, that I skipped vacations and wore the same winter coat for 6 years to make this happen. I could have looked at my parents and asked them why they let Kara walk in here and rewrite the day. But I didn't. Something in me clicked into place, calm and clean. I realized if I fought right there, I'd be playing the role they were already handing me. Angry sister, jealous wife, problem child. And Ben would love that. He'd turn to my parents with that soft concerned face and say, "See? This is what I deal with." So I swallowed the fight. I smiled, not sweet, just steady. "Congrats," I said. Kara blinked. Ben's smile widened like he'd won. I set the lemon bars on the counter without a word. I walked to Mom and Dad. Mom's face was crumpled with stress, the kind that comes from years of trying to keep peace between daughters. I kissed her cheek. Then I kissed Dad's forehead. "I hope you all enjoy the place," I said quietly. "Really?" Dad grabbed my wrist. "Rachel." "I'm gonna head out," I said. "I've got to get back before the roads freeze." Ben stood up fast. "Wait. You're just leaving?" "Yeah," I said. "You guys have fun." I walked out alone. I didn't slam the door. I didn't cry on the porch. I got in my car, turned the heat on full blast, and drove away with my hands steady at 10 and 2. My chest felt hollow like someone had scooped me out. But my head was clear. 2 hours earlier, I'd been a woman bringing a gift. Now I was a woman watching her life get bargained in front of her like she wasn't in the room. It hurt in a plain way, not poetic. Like finding a cracked tooth with your tongue. I pulled into the parking lot of a gas station off US 31 and sat there while my windshield fogged. My phone buzzed with a text from Ben. "Where are you going? Don't be like this." I didn't answer. I opened my email and scrolled to the folder labeled House. Just for me. Deed, closing docs, insurance, the trust paperwork I signed 2 weeks ago with a lawyer in Grand Rapids who had eyes that missed nothing. When I first bought the house, I planned to put it in my parents' names outright. Simple, clean. But the lawyer had asked, "Do you have siblings?" I said yes. "Any reason to worry about pressure or entitlement?" I laughed because I didn't want to seem paranoid. But then I thought about Kara. The way she once borrowed Mom's wedding ring for a night out and lost it. The way she called me selfish when I couldn't co-sign her third car loan. The way she always showed up right at the moment something good happened and said, "Must be nice." Cancer treatment. It was my mom's idea, actually, after she got that first chemo statement that looked like a phone book. Kara never knew. Ben never knew. They didn't ask. They didn't care enough to ask because they assumed they were entitled to whatever I built. I forwarded one email to my parents' phone number. A plain message from the trust lawyer, already drafted for moments like this. It explained ownership in simple terms. It attached the trust summary. It said politely that no one could transfer the property to anyone else, and that any attempt to do so would be legally void. Then I sent another email, this one to Ben, with a subject line that made my fingers go cold. Separation agreement draft. I had it ready for a month. I wasn't proud of that. I was tired of being surprised. I sat there for a minute, listening to the quiet tick of my car engine. I expected to feel triumphant. I didn't. I felt sad. Like I'd finally admitted the truth I'd been walking around for years. That I was married to someone who didn't love me the way I loved him. That I was the safety net, not the partner. That my sister didn't want me close unless she could stand on my shoulders. My phone rang. I answered, bracing myself. Her voice came out small. "Rachel, I'm so sorry. Your dad just read the email. We didn't understand what Kara was doing. She showed up saying Ben told her you wanted it this way." I shut my eyes. So Ben had been in on it before we even arrived. That hurt worse than Kara's greed somehow. "I know," I said. I didn't, not fully, but I knew enough. "We didn't want to fight," Mom whispered. "You know how she gets. But this isn't right. Your dad told her they're leaving. She's screaming." I leaned my head back against the seat. My throat tightened, but still no tears. "You don't have to leave because of me. We're leaving because of us," she said, firmer now. "This was your gift. We want it to feel like love, not a tug of war." There was noise on her end, muffled arguing, Kara's voice sharp and high. Then Dad's deeper voice, steady in a way I haven't heard in years. "Kara, stop. You're not doing this." I didn't say anything for a second. I just listened. In my mind I saw Dad standing up straighter than his back allows, planting his feet even though it hurts, finally choosing something clean. Mom cleared her throat. "Your lemon bars are in the car. We're coming to your place tonight if that's okay." I swallowed hard. Yeah. Of course. When I got home the apartment felt too quiet. I'd bought it last year after I gave up on waiting for Ben to help with the mortgage and decided we needed something smaller. It wasn't fancy. 2 bedrooms, thin walls, a view of the alley. But it was mine in the ways that mattered. I made tea and stood at the sink watching the sky go pink over the parking lot. Ben walked in about 20 minutes later. He didn't knock. He never knocks. He saw my face and stopped. So that's it? You humiliate me in front of your parents and take the house back. I didn't take anything back, I said. It was never yours to take. He scoffed. You're really doing this over a misunderstanding? It wasn't a misunderstanding, I said. My voice surprised me. It didn't shake. You told Kara she could have my gift. Behind my back. You sat there and smiled while she tried to corner me. You were fine with it because it made you feel important. He opened his mouth, then shut it. The silence wasn't heavy this time. It was simple. I heard tires in the lot. A car door. Footsteps on the stairs. Mom and Dad came in carrying their overnight bag and my lemon bars. Mom's cheeks were red from crying. Dad looked tired but calm. Ben stared at them like he couldn't decide whether to charm them or blame me. Dad decided for him. Ben, Dad said quiet but hard. We're not doing this tonight. You should go. Ben's face flushed. Sir, with respect. No, Dad said. Go. Ben looked at me one last time like he was waiting for me to soften it. I didn't. He grabbed his jacket and left. After he was gone, Mom sat at my table and took my hands in hers. I'm sorry we let that happen. I'm sorry too, I said, and I meant sorry for everything. Sorry I didn't trust my gut sooner. Sorry I loved people who confused love with access. Sorry I kept trying to earn a place I already deserved. Dad ate a lemon bar and nodded slow. These are good, he said, like that mattered, like normal things still existed. You should keep baking. I laughed once, small and real. The sound cracked something open in me. Not pain. Space. That night I made up the couch for them and took my own bed. I stared at the ceiling for a long time, thinking about how revenge isn't always loud. Sometimes it's a boundary you finally stop apologizing for. Sometimes it's refusing to be drafted into someone else's story. In the morning I woke up to the smell of coffee and Dad humming in the kitchen like he used to when I was a kid. Mom was sitting by the window watching the world like it might still be gentle if you let it. I didn't know what the next months would look like. Divorce papers probably. Awkward holidays. Kara's texts full of poison. But I also knew something I hadn't known yesterday. I wasn't the family's spare part. I wasn't Ben's backup plan. I wasn't Kara's ladder. I was a person who could build something good and I didn't have to hand it over to be loved. Outside, the weather report said snow by noon. I pulled on my sweater and joined them at the table. We ate breakfast slow. We talked about nothing important and everything important at the same time. It wasn't a big miracle. Not like the movies. Just three tired people choosing each other honestly for once. And for me that was enough to start over.